Hello, America, and welcome to the second worst piece of entertainment available. We're still sitting at number 2 behind the WNBA for the worst. They still hold the title. Make sure you hit that like button if you like what you're seeing, and if you want to continue to watch us every week. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and if you are, hit the bell notification button because otherwise YouTube ain't going to show you our show. All right, so here again, I'm Jake, and in the corner I have my associate Luke.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Now, and I got Nancy here, like I always do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, today, before I get into our first story, I want to talk about something. I just want to show you something I saw on Twitter the other night. So we'll put this up. And now it's a photo of this giant inflatable sheep that this man has put in his yard.
It's so good.
I don't know if that's real. Now, if it is indeed real, whoever did that is a national hero.
Yeah, God bless you, whoever you are. God bless you.
If anyone out there knows if this is real and you could let us know, that would be great because I've been looking online about it and I can't find anything. So I'm just thinking it's photoshopped. But still, it's pretty funny. Now, I did find something else that caught my eye. So, all right. So scientists believe this was back in 2000, and I was just on the toilet doing what you do. I was on Twitter, and I saw this mad cow disease could have come from outer space, according to 2 professors. Alien organisms may have reached Earth among debris falling from comets that have been eaten by grazing cattle, they say. And now they go on to say that it's like, 100 tons of cometary material hit the Earth every single day. That's a real fact. And scientists also believe things like HIV could have come from space. They also think SARS could have come from space. You just think that's not true? I don't know.
It's just... really?
Who knows? Alien organisms coming in off comets, landing on our planet. Cattle eat them up.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I just thought that was funny.
Did COVID come from aliens?
They do say SARS. They think SARS could have come from space too.
Interesting.
Yeah, Ebola, the common cold, HIV. They think a lot of these could have come from space. Now, some, like Nobel Prize winner Wangari Maathai, believe that HIV was created in a lab and used as a weapon against the black community. She later denied this when she was confronted, saying, "I have no idea who created AIDS and whether it is a biological agent or not, but I do know things like that don't come from the moon. I also have thought that this is important to tell people the truth, but I guess there is some truth that must not be exposed." So she's basically saying she still thinks the virus was created in the lab. Have we heard anything like that recently, Luke?
There's been an outbreak of chocolatey goodness near Hershey, Pennsylvania. What do you think happened? Like, oh, I don't know, maybe a steam shovel mated with a cocoa bean. Or it's the chocolate factory. Maybe that's it.
I'm thinking.
Viruses created in labs.
I think there was something in China, maybe? Maybe? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
Maybe at the Wuhan virology lab of
studying
coronavirus.
Studying coronaviruses?
No
way, though.
Speaking of coronavirus, there's something you're not seeing talked about a lot in the mainstream media. I've looked everywhere. I looked for Fox, CNN, MSNBC, and you don't see anyone talking about France right now. And France has introduced policy that says as of August 1st, you have to have a vaccine passport or a recent negative test proof of to be able to buy groceries at a grocery store, go to a restaurant to eat, or go into a bar. So that's gone over about as well as you think it would. And you know, I never thought I'd say this, and I'm only half kidding, but kind of saying right on to those rioters. Not that I believe property damage of private citizens will really help anything, but what do you expect when you tell people this? I mean, it's causing mad chaos. You're telling people that unless they get this vaccine, you're totally going against their freedom of choice, which people in France do have, to choose whether or not they want to get the vaccine. Which, if you don't see, you see this happening in France, and it's coming for us next. I mean, if you've got to believe that it's coming here next, and people, like, you've got to wake up in America. Like, you take your mask off, so we know this is coming to America. You have to believe that these authoritarians in France, I mean, we're following the global pattern. As things happen somewhere else, it's coming here. The UK has become a total police state where people don't seem to have any rights left. And I think people in America should be more fearful of that coming here. I mean, Joe Biden is talking about going door to door to send people out to make sure you're vaccinated. Now, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be super stoked on a complete stranger coming to my door to stick a needle into my arm. Like, totally kosher. Oh, hey, hello, two people I've never met before. Would you like to step into my home and give me an injection?
Yes, please. I've been waiting for that.
And people are excited about this, I bet. People have been running to get these vaccines like they're running into a candy store. Kids in a candy store. It's insane. Okay, so let's look at France. So they've had nearly 5.2 million infections in France, while they've only had 111,467 deaths, okay? Now, 100,467 deaths, that's tragic, I get it. Loss of life sucks. But when you look at the ratios, I mean, you can see that COVID-19 never has been and never will be a super deadly disease that's going to wipe out the population like they claimed it would. It's just not. They're trying to push this idea that COVID-19 is super scary and the Delta variant is super scary and it's going to get you because they want you to live in fear. Because a population that lives in fear is easy to herd.
For the international order that we have worked for generations to build. Ordinary men and women are too small-minded to govern their own affairs. That order and progress can only come when individuals surrender their rights to an all-powerful sovereign.
They're like cattle. So, sure, keep being a sheep, stay asleep. But when you look at the facts, COVID ain't that deadly, okay? And they don't want you to see that, and that's why they don't talk about mortality rates in the news. I mean, the whole time this has been going on, you don't hear a lot about mortality, you just hear a lot about infection numbers. Because infection numbers keep going up, and the mortality rate, not too bad. But, you know, if they talk about that, then maybe you won't be so afraid of COVID, and maybe you won't want to get a vaccine that's only emergency approved and not fully approved by the FDA. Maybe you would say, you know what? I think I'm okay. But no, they don't want you to live that way. They want you to live under the boot. They want you to be afraid. They want you to get the vaccine. And why are they pushing this vaccine so hard, Luke? If it's all about choice and we've almost reached immunity, why are they still pushing this vaccine? I mean, I could go off on conspiracy theories about population control and Bill Gates and vaccines, and you would call me crazy. Fine. But there's something weird going on. You know, it's all about fear. The same way they push this narrative that black people are still oppressed in this country and that they should be afraid of the white man because the white man is out to get them and the white man is down to keep them down and the white man is out there to kill them. It's why they also say the black community should be more afraid of COVID when they really don't talk about the fact that they should be more afraid of COVID is because they eat like shit in comparison to the white populace in this country. And not all of them. I mean, have you been to Oklahoma? I've seen some fat white people that should be afraid of COVID just like the black community here. But it's like I go out to Walmart, the only people wearing masks are black people. And why is that? Because they've been made to fear the virus more. Just like they've been made to fear the white man in this country. Just like they've been told they're oppressed. It's all bullshit to divide us and keep us all afraid. Okay? But, you know, let's you know, because it's all about the sins of the white man, lest we forget that the sins of the white man are really just the sins of the world as we know it.
Kill Whitey!
I mean, when slavery began in America, we first tried to enslave whites, but they were too pale and got too tired in the sun. We tried to enslave natives, but they were too violent and fought back, and we couldn't. So then we went to Africa, where the slave trade was huge, and some black Africans sold us some black Africans to keep as slaves. And, no one ever talks about, like, Anthony Johnson, who was one of the first slave owners in America, who was black, who actually had one of his indentured servants sue him, another black man, because he said that Anthony Johnson kept him under servitude 7 years too long. And I think, I can't think of his name, but I think he won that case. And we also have William Ellison, who was a black man that in 1860 owned one of the largest gin cotton plantations in South Carolina. Native Americans also owned slaves. The number of this was from, I got this off, where did I get this? I don't know. I'll put it in the screen. The number of enslaved people held by the Cherokees were around 600 at the start of the 19th century and around 1,500 at the time of Western removal in 1838 and 1839. Creeks, Choctaws, and Chickasaws she said, held around 3,500 slaves across the three nations as the 19th century began. So it's not just a white person problem. That this is what they try to teach you, that it's just all about white people and how evil they are, right? Even though the census of 1830 lists 3,775 black slaves owned a total of 12,760 black slaves.
Hey, Jake.
What?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't know that, Luke? A lot of people don't know that, apparently.
No clue.
But you know what people do know that they don't talk about? Who ended legal chattel slavery in America?
I'm going to take a guess. Republicans?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were...
White people?
Yes!
Oh.
Abraham Lincoln!
Oh, shocker there.
The big guy!
Wow.
But no, white man bad, right?
Yes.
That's what I see every time I look on ESPN now. White man bad. It's all Black Lives Matter. Marches for George Floyd. Marches in the George Floyd Square next to Cup Foods where there was high rates of crime and drive-by shootings after it was created as an autonomous zone or whatever they call it.
When did ESPN become this social justice channel? It's like CNN Part 2.
We were watching it the other night.
Yeah.
And every time I looked up at the TV, that's all that was on.
Yeah.
No sports commercials, no sports commentary on prior, games or anything like that. No highlights, just Black Lives Matter marches. And say their names. And they created this graveyard with these headstones with George Floyd in it and Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor ran drugs with her boyfriend, and George Floyd was high out of his mind and resisted arrest. Why are these people martyrs? You know why? Because it's a tough pill to swallow. So they use that. They use that to divide us. They say, hey, your white neighbor, he hates you, and you should hate him back. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to divide us in this country. And they're lying to you to keep you afraid, okay? To keep you feeling oppressed, okay? Whether it's race or COVID-19 or the police, they want you to live in fear. Okay? And they want you to accept the idea that the societal structures in this country that as we know it need to be toppled and rebuilt. Okay? They're doing this with they're doing this in many aspects of life. They want to destroy society and rebuild it. Okay? Now they're pushing gay sex on your children. Okay? Now you do what you do in your own homes, and if you're of legal age, I don't care. Do what you do. You do you. Okay? You do you, boo-boo. I don't care. But do not push this on underage children. That's not right. But you know who thinks it's right? Lauren Rauwello. I can't even say her stupid name. I hate her so much.
Rauwello.
Of the Washington Post, who wrote this. Yes, kink belongs at Pride. And yes, I want my kids to see it. So she goes on to write this article about how borderline sex acts at Pride events should be encouraged, and not only encouraged and allowed, but children should see them so that they can understand that as they grow up, there's no thing that's, as long as it's consensual, there's nothing about sex that should be taboo. Which behind closed doors, again, fine, do you, but keep children out of it. Children as young as 8 years old and younger, do not need to be learning about sexual consent or kink I mean, that is just exposing your kids to sex. Why would you want to expose your kids to sex? I had all these questions, so you know what I did? I reached out to Lauren Rowello. Rowello. I hate your last name, and I hate you. I reached out to her on Twitter, and I think I put those. Did I put the messages in there? I did not.
No.
It's okay.
But I think I have them. Hang on. Stand by.
All right, so I reached out to Lauren on Twitter, and I said, hello, I'd love to request a comment on your position when it comes to changing the age of consent to a lower age, because this is actually something lawmakers in California are pushing, trying to push the age of consent lower. They believe that age is fluid, just like gender is fluid, and that people of an older age should be allowed to commit pedophilia in the Western states. So she said I would not support that, and I said, but you do support the promotion of kink to children. I'm just trying to find the middle ground of when people who could support teaching sexual kinks to children but would also not support... wait, let me start over again. I'm just trying to find the middle ground where people could support teaching sexual kinks to kids, but not support them being sexually active at a younger age. How would you say those two don't line up? And she goes on to say, you misunderstood the article I wrote, which I did not. It's a very straightforward piece. And so I said, well, would you like to clarify the following statement? Where she went to say, if we want our children to learn and grow from their experiences at Pride, we should hope that they'll encounter kink when they attend. How else can they learn about the scope and vitality of queer life, which kink is just borderline sex acts being displayed in public? I mean, kink. We all know what kink is. We all know that people have their kinks. What do you relate that to? Sex? So to me, that sounds like the encouragement of bringing sex into children's lives while not being physical. I could only imagine the effects on someone whose mind is still forming. So again, would you mind clarifying how encouraging young children to see kink and public borderline sex acts isn't on the same train of thought with lowering the age of consent? Now she goes on, she replied, and she said, well, I don't think that sex publicly occurs at Pride. And I went back to clarify and I said, borderline sex acts. I know these people aren't screwing in the streets, but they're just on the verge of doing so. And she continued to just go on and say that I misunderstood her article, that I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'll put those up too because I told her I was going to publish all the messages publicly, and because I think they speak for themselves. I mean, she clearly is just backed into a corner where this whole thing is blown up in her face, and so she's just going to tell me that I misunderstood and I don't understand and there's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. There's something wrong with you, Lauren. You're mentally ill and you should see a doctor. And I fear for your children. She has a trans wife, is what she says.
Oh, really?
Those poor children.
Well, that sounds to me like child abuse.
Yeah.
Straight up. Like you're bringing your kid into kink fests, watching people with dildos and other shit. Like, no, man. No. If I had a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, something like that, and they saw that, I would cover their eyes and get them the hell out of Dodge as quick as possible.
Because they're children.
Yes.
There's no place for children.
No. And until you really go through puberty, you don't even know what sex is, dude. You don't know what it is. It's gross. Ewy, cooties. You know what I mean?
But if a little boy puts on a dress, he must be a woman, and therefore, let's put him on a pill block. You know, what is it? Testosterone blockers. What are estrogen and
puberty blockers.
Puberty blockers. That's the word I was looking for.
Puberty blockers. Yeah.
Put him on estrogen.
Let's screw him up for life.
Yeah. Let him grow some tits. God. Be mentally ill for the rest of his life, just like you, Lauren, and your trans wife. That's what I told her. I told her, too, you're just sick. I mean, and it's the truth, and people need to be told that because they're sick. I'm sorry. Gay people, do whatever you want. I have no problem with homosexuality. But when you start getting into this realm of, like, this sick, degenerate, like,
Well, like, I feel like most gay people don't support the LGBTQR97.
Like, most moderate, just, like, homosexuals.
Yeah. They just want to be left alone.
And it's like, how insulting to lesbians. They're like, no, I'm attracted to women. I'm attracted to them because of their genitalia.
Well, I think.
So what if you take that away?
I think a study came out where there's like almost no lesbians anymore. Mm-hmm. They're just now non-binary or trans or whatever, which is
it's
weird.
A social norm. It's a cool thing to do now, and that's what it's all about. Fit in, baby.
Yeah, fit in. I'm gonna chop my wiener off. Fit right in.
Yeah. I heard stories about little girls that would say, you know, I think I'm a lesbian, but it's more, I'm afraid of coming out as a lesbian. It's more socially acceptable to transition to a man these days than to just come out as a lesbian. That's how these little girls in school feel. Gosh. And you saw this other video where the girl comes out. She's like, so my name is Darren now. And everyone's like, oh, so brave. So brave.
So brave.
It's being encouraged.
Your mental illness is so brave.
And the rest of the world is looking at us right now like, look at these weak Americans. Mm-hmm. Look at these weak people that can't even figure out what gender they're supposed to be. When there's only two, baby. There's only two.
We laugh because we don't know what else to do anymore, you know?
Clown pilled.
Clown pilled, man. Yeah.
I wonder if we can buy one of those. I wonder if Elijah Schaefer sells those.
Let's ask.
I'd love to have one right here.
Yeah.
And I'd sleep with it at night.
If you can't laugh, then what else are you going to do, you know?
That's all we have left.
It is. Because comedy's dead.
Comedy's dead. You can't make jokes anymore.
No.
You just get up there and tell your truth. That's stand-up comedy now.
Yeah.
What's that woman? I can't think of her name, but she's got the short haircut, and she's always got to wear the suit. Like, why don't you be a more stereotypical lesbian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ellen
DeGeneres. Yeah. See where you got your playbook. They're not even original, these people.
Mm-mm. They never have been, though. If you think of it. They just steal other people's stuff all the time, dude.
Like the goddamn Chinese.
That's the real threat, everyone. The Chinese. That's the real threat.
I know what you're up to. You sons of bitches. Mm-hmm. I'm coming for you.
Oh, America suck. America F you. I just dropped the F-bomb there.
Yeah.
Look at me.
You got to do some censoring. All right. Well, I'm hot and sweaty.
I'm a little hot and bothered.
So,
all this kink talk has gotten me a little confused.
Oh, no. Now Luke's confused.
Uh-oh. Right. Here we go. Chopping my wiener off.
All right. So we'll see you guys next week. By then, Luke will probably have started his transition.
You can call me Laura.
Laura. We'll call him Laura next week. See if he's got a nice pair of tits on him by then.
I'm getting double D's, baby.
Oh, yeah. Where was that guy back? Do you remember the guy who was on Letterman? And I think he lost a bet. This was back in the day, and he had to get tits. And he used to keep the little gold caps over his nipples.
I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, that was like, I think he was.
But that was a joke.
He lost a bet. But and had to get tits, but now people are rushing out to get tits.
Yeah, and it's not a joke.
It's not it. Well,
I mean, it is a joke.
It's a joke.
But to them, it's like
to them, it's very serious,
and
they definitely don't need to be on any sort of antipsychotics.
No. No.
All right, folks, we're gonna get out of here. God bless you. God bless America. Stay safe. Watch out for that Delta variant because it's killing less people in the country.
I don't know. I feel like most people that got it are vaccinated.
I think less people than the common cold was the mortality
yes,
rate.
Yes, it was.
Right?
It was like 99.9.
Watch out! Watch out! All right. Goodbye, folks. Love you.
What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say. Go ahead.